Okay, so my talk is my journey to go, which is kind of deceiving because I'm not done. But let's just get into it. A little bit about me, because why not? I spent most of my life outside of the United States. This is me and my dad, and I also learned today that I also come from a family of ninjas, I guess, if you see on the wall. I used to be a photographer, which might explain why I like art, I guess. I make gophers, lots and lots and lots of gophers. Also gopherize me. And this is my first keynote. Thank you. Somebody told me a joke yesterday, and I totally stole it and put it in my slides this morning. And this is the reason that I am no longer a photographer. What is the difference between art and pizza? Pizza can feed a family of 4. So I made a decision that I needed to pay bills, and I have a family. So I decided to learn to code. I didn't just jump into that. When I was a photographer, I needed a website, so I built a website. My site needed to rank, so I learned SEO. So I was kind of doing front-end-ish, and it turned out I didn't suck at it, so I started building websites for photographers, and that's kind of what happened. I went to a boot camp. Any of you that have gone to boot camps, I'm not saying that you guys suck, you're great, but boot camps are maybe not the greatest. These are a couple of Instagram photos from my experience. They promise to teach you all of the things you need to know in 12 weeks, and then they give you this great little business card at the end, and they're like, you're a software engineer. You're not. It turns out you're not. So I was writing Python, and I was doing community management, developer advocacy type things at Rackspace. And in 2014, I met a gopher. And that gopher made me abandon Python like nobody's business. I haven't touched it since. And that gopher is Steve Francia. So Steve Francia is to blame for all of my gopher images, for me being here right now. And we have been all over the world teaching this Go workshop. And what had happened was, in 2014, I met Steve, and he said, we should be best friends. And I said, that's not weird. And he said, hey, I'm teaching this Go workshop. You should do it with me. And I said, that's really dumb for a smart guy to say. I have never programmed in Go. Why would I do that? And he said, well, Ashley, I have been doing this for a really long time, and this is an intro workshop, and I need a fresh perspective. And I was like, OK, maybe that's a good idea. So in that, I learned that literally nobody succeeds alone. I feel like you all know that. You probably have a mentor or a sponsor or a friend who can say. I am super lucky. Everyone needs somebody to be invested in their success, and each and every person on this list has had a direct impact on my success and has inspired me in some way. What I was also doing in 2014, and the reason I agreed to do these crazy workshops with Steve, is that I was saying yes to everything. I'm scared of everything, so it was easy for me to say no to everything. So he said, hey, let's just say yes to all of the things. What's the worst that could happen? You could be giving a keynote in front of all of your heroes. So my journey is not over. Like I want to make that point. I still consider myself very junior, but I also really believe in contributing. And contributing is not just about code. We all know code is king, right? We get it. But it's not just about code. And there's lots of excuses, right? I'm not a very good programmer. That's like my excuse. I don't have a lot of time. Yeah, nobody does. I spend my weekends doing this. I don't know what project to work on. Myth, you don't have to be a Rob Pike or a Jess Fraz or a Dave Cheney to contribute to open source, to contribute to Go. And there are 3 things that I want to talk about right now. Projects, contributions, they require all skills. If there's only one view of the world, it's pretty boring. A small contribution is better than no contribution. The best project to start working on is the one that you're already using. These are all common sense things, I feel like, but maybe not. Knowing where to start sucks. I feel like everyone has this issue. So what are you good at right now? I knew I was good at graphic design, and I really love this silly gopher. So what can I contribute right now? Hey, these silly gopher stickers. Gopherize Me has hundreds of thousands of users. It was obviously something that the community needed right now, even though it felt silly to me at the time. The first thing that you want to do when you're contributing is listen. It's the best way to know what the project needs. Also seems like common sense, but it's really not. Shh, we're listening. One of the ways that you can listen is by signing up for the mailing list. It's the first place that you hear about new things that are happening, right? Blogs. Follow Russ's blog, follow Steve's blog, follow Jess's blog. IRC and Reddit. Like, be on the forums where people are talking and listen. Working with tickets, you guys. These are ways that you can contribute. These are the boring ways. Like, nobody wants, like, community is key to this whole thing, right? Open source, like, it's not always fun. You have to do tedious shit sometimes. It sucks. And sometimes it's working with tickets. Sometimes it's diagnosing a bug or, closing bug fixes because, sometimes things are fixed and we just never close things. Working with code. So beta testing, super important. Fixing bugs, writing tests, adding comments. I'm a big fan of this one because everything confuses me. And if I'm confused, I hope that somebody else is confused. So go through the code, leave comments. It's helpful. I feel like I'm really flying through this, you guys. Docs. I feel like nobody likes writing them, but I feel like they're the most important thing. And they're often written by people that have contributed the most to the project, right? So it's written as if you already know how to use it. So having that fresh perspective from somebody new help write the docs is pretty cool, and I feel like nobody considers that. Community. So open source is only partly about code. Community makes open source work. Here are some ways that you can build it up. Answering questions. Everyone on my previous list has answered some silly question from me or somebody else. Even if you feel like, let me Google that for you, taking the time to answer that person's question makes them feel important, makes them feel like they can contribute. Writing a blog post. If you learn something new, write about it. Even if you feel like it's silly, I feel like people want to show off. Like, I get it. We all kind of want to show off a little bit. But not all of your blog posts have to be super technically challenging. Improve a website. Turns out developers not that great at graphic design. Who knew? Okay, pay it forward. Give more than you receive. That's how this should work. Okay, this is a bit of advice that I don't follow myself. But it's really good advice. Don't be too proud to accept help when it's offered. Also, it's okay to fail, and if anyone says otherwise, they're toast lying. I can't take credit for this quote, Steve, but I feel like this is my most tweetable slide. We are a community of coders, but if all we do is code, then we've lost the community. That is the most woke statement I've ever seen. That's me. Couple things. This conference is spectacular. You guys are all amazing. I've never felt more welcome in a community ever. I'm gonna cry. Eric and Brian, thank you for inviting me here and putting my Gophers up everywhere. It's really cool. Again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.